So at any rate, and this is a dream I'm going to present at UAC too, because it's just kind of dramatic and it involves an asteroid and so on. I thought people might get a kick out of it since it's an asteroid group, right? And I love asteroids, and I suspect all of us do. So let me just set you up with a little story. Remember about 2 years ago, right before Thanksgiving, 2024. Around that time, do you remember what Pluto was doing, anybody?
Opposing Mars.
Right, and it just entered what sign?
Aquarius.
Aquarius for the first time in several hundred years. So it was a big deal, right? And so we were all kind of talking about it and wondering, well, wow, what was that going to mean? And then the opposition, like you say, to Mars, and people were wondering, well, what does that mean for people who are early Aquarians, right? Because Pluto would be sitting right on their sun. Well, I was one of those. I'm still here to say I'm one of those still. So that was kind of interesting. I wondered too. So this was the day before Thanksgiving, 2024. So this is the United States. So Thanksgiving's on a Thursday, right? And the day before is Wednesday. So Wednesday, I was minding my own business, as they say, getting ready for Thanksgiving, which I live in a very rural area of California in the Redwoods, almost in Oregon. So I'm about 6 hours from any big city. And my family is in the Bay Area, so about 6 hours away, right? So I was getting ready to go down to, the Bay Area for Thanksgiving, the day before Thanksgiving. And one of the things we know about the day before Thanksgiving, Wednesday, is that I've heard on the news that it's the busiest travel day of the whole year, right? So I'm packing the car. I'm the one that brings the apple cider and pies and certain things. So I was sort of packing the car, sort of getting ready. And of course, so I went to bed the night before, which would have been Tuesday night. And as I'm falling asleep, I do the same thing pretty much every night. I have a practice that involves a meditation and prayer practice it happens to involve the goddess Tara, you know, that you see in Buddhism and Hinduism and a lot in Asia. Um, and I have a mala, a prayer, prayer beads, and I actually sing the mantra, you know. And a lot of times I'm doing that as I'm falling asleep. This is significant. You'll understand why later on. So as I'm falling asleep, I'm singing this mantra like I do every night, and I've still got the prayer beads. So Tara I'm very devoted. So the story is partially about the power of devotion, I think, and love, whatever we love, whether it's a magical practice or spiritual tradition or religious practice, something that we love, that we really devote our heart to, right? God and goddess, practice with a god and goddess, any of this, I think would qualify because it's about energy and heartfelt energy and regular practice and how powerful that is, what that can do. So at any rate, so I'm falling asleep, and then I wake up. I went to sleep kind of early. I about 11, and I woke up at 3:55 in the morning, Wednesday morning, the day before Thanksgiving, and I had a very powerful dream. Before I go into the dream, though, I'm going to say one of the things that I really get a lot out of is taking a regular dream journal. A lot of us have a dream journal, right? You probably have a dream journal or you've had one, right? A lot of people here. And then adding things to it. So of course we jot down the dream. I find it's helpful to add several things. One is what was going on before you had the dream, like that waking day, right? Like I said, my waking day was pretty routine, other than I was packing for the trip, right? And preparing for a long car ride. So that's what I was doing my waking day. And then I fell asleep at about 11. And I looked up the next day, I looked up what the planetary hour was. I'm very interested in utilizing, and I do utilize planetary hours and planetary days. It's kind of interesting, because we're talking about something that dates all the way back to, Acadia, Sumeria, Babylonia, pre-Hellenistic. And then, of course, Hellenistic as well. And of course, used a lot in the Renaissance astrology too. And I'm very eclectic as an astrologer. I draw from different eras, and I love it all. So, at any rate, planetary days. Well, we still get the days of the week from that period. They've stuck, right? So let's run through the days of the week and the gods and goddesses and planets. Sunday, what do we think that's dedicated to? Right? The sun, right? How about Monday? The moon, right? How about Tuesday? Gets a little trickier. You kind of either go to French or Spanish, right? Tuesday, mardi. That would be Mars Day, right? Mars, Tuesday. Wednesday, mercredi en français, right? Mercury. So I went to sleep. It's Mercury's day now, right? The day before Thanksgiving is always a Wednesday. Mercury's day, and I fell asleep, as you can see, at Mercury's hour, right? And so that's interesting. How do I know it was Mercury's hour? Well, I looked up the planetary hours, right? And so, and of course, that's free online. There's a lot of websites. You can just go to Google and say planetary hours, calculate is free, AstroSeek, and a lot of other ones, right? Also, free apps. I've got an app on my phone for planetary, free. So, and again, we're going way back to the Chaldeans, way back to pre-Hellenistic times. Originally, planetary hours, from my research, apparently it developed from a practice among the ancient Babylonians and Sumerians in Mesopotamia, way BCE, to initially divide the night up into three, and then later, I think, maybe even four divisions before there were hours. And they did this because they were on the lookout for someone who might invade them. So it was a military thing initially, interestingly enough. It's a kind of little fun fact. And then, of course, they're out there. Somebody's what they call the night watch. Somebody's doing the night watch to make sure everybody's safe. And they begin to notice the stars and the planets and stuff, right? And make observations about the planets and how they impacted us here. And a lot of good stuff has come from that we still use, like the planetary hours and days. Although I think I'd like to see us use it more. So Mercury hour, Mercury day. What do we know about Mercury? Anybody? What does Mercury do? What comes to your mind first? Mercury.
Whatever it wants.
Yeah, whatever it wants. It also delivers a lot, doesn't it? I like to say Mercury delivers. That's one of my favorite sayings, because Mercury kind of delivers the news, doesn't it? Delivers the message, whatever the message is, right? So I fell asleep at Mercury hour. So Mercury wanted to deliver something. And I found in my extensive research on dreams and astrology, a lot of times Mercury is involved and delivers the message of another god or goddess or an asteroid or another planet, right? So Mercury hour and Mercury's day, Wednesday. Interesting. By the way, does everybody here know what day they were born of in terms what day of the week and what the planet was? Is everybody? I can't see everybody. Are you all shaking your head? Okay, good. I'm glad. A lot of times people don't. Like I was born on a Monday, right? So the moon's pretty important in my chart. Does everybody here know what planetary hour they were born on? Not so sure, not quite as sure. Yeah, you can look that up for free. Again, the same thing. It's interesting to know. I was born in the Jupiter hour. It's interesting because, maybe that's emphasized. Maybe that'll come up. It's interesting to know, can be very enlightening sometimes. So at any rate, so we've got Mercury hour, Mercury day. We get a little theme here. 3:55 in the morning, I woke up with the following dream. It was really a very powerful visitation. So in the and this is the chart actually for the Tara dream. By the way, the word Tara is sometimes translated as a lot of times as star. Isn't that interesting? Tara means star. And from the ancient Celtic, you have the word Tara, meaning a sacred mound of earth, like the Hill of Tara in Ireland. I don't know if you've ever been there. I have. It's a wonderful place. So at any rate, here's the chart for this dream, right? I looked up the planetary hour, right? And we've got what I call a hula hoop, the hula hoop emphasizing, well, there's the Pluto we were talking about earlier, right? And the Pluto's, as you said, opposing Mars, right? However, it was a lot later that I realized you know, I wonder if Tara is also an asteroid. I asked myself, because as we know, there's thousands of asteroids. And so I didn't think till later. And that's interesting about dreams. A lot of times going over a dream later is very fruitful, right? So I looked it up and we've got, oh, Tara is an asteroid. It's number 5863. And you know where it was at that time? We don't have a symbol for it. So I just wrote Tara in. It was 0 degrees, 21 minutes of Leo for that dream. So it was just coming up to Mars, and I believe softening the effect of the Mars opposition to Pluto. Isn't that interesting? A little bit more about Tara, because it might be fun to take a look at this. I can get the, oh yeah, fun. It's fun art too, isn't it? Kind of pretty pictures. I don't know if anything, you've probably seen pictures of Tara, statues, you know. Um, so when working with dreams and astrology, you know, whatever planet or goddess or god, whatever floats your boat, you know, work with that because it's something that you love. I love Tara. I connect with it. So it's just a personal thing. And of course, I'm very devoted to that. I was, you know, regularly. Here's a beautiful green Tara. There's 21 Taras. Did you know that? 21. And they're kind of like the rainbow. They're all different colors and different ones with different directions and different qualities. Very interesting. This huge number of teachings just on Tara. You can just specialize in Tara your whole life. There's that much on Tara. So at any rate, we've got, here she is. Isn't she beautiful? Interesting, of the 21 Taras, green Tara, you see this is green Tara, is the only one that's not in full lotus. Isn't that interesting? And there's a reason for it. The reason is that she took a pledge to help humanity, but we have to ask her. And because of that, she's ready to move fast. That's why she's got that leg extended. Isn't that interesting? She took a vow to help humanity. And she's an asteroid, right? She's in late Aquarius right now, in case anybody's curious. Very beautiful. Here is one of her protectors. These goddesses often have their own protectors. Marisi, who's the goddess, wrathful, no, the peaceful protector of Tara, of the dawn. I'm bringing her up because in Mongolia, this is part of a set from Mongolia. There was a beautiful 21 Tara set, the whole set. And one of them was taken to New York some years ago and put in a museum exhibit, and the museum is about to close. So a lot of us are hoping that the museum will send it back to Mongolia. Don't you think that'd be nice to send her home to join her sister, her other 20 sisters? So just think positive thoughts if you want to about that. Isn't she beautiful? But at any rate, so Tara, why am I talking about Tara? Because of course she came to me made a visit. A lot of times I have dreams that are almost like haiku poetry, just one strong image that's compressed. That was the case here. Don't discount it if you have a dream like that. It can be packed with meaning. So this was the dream. The visitation is really a visitation. Green Tara was reclined, lying on her right side with her head slightly elevated. Very interesting. But I know a fair amount about Buddhist art because I used to take people on visits to the Asian Museum in San Francisco to look at Buddhist art. And I know that I've only seen one deity in Buddhism that's lying on their right side. And that's this deity here. I could get my mouse to work. Buddha. Is my pointer showing? Okay. So Buddha is the only Buddhist deity I have ever seen that lies on his right side with his head inclined. And you know, the reason you've probably seen pictures of this, or you've seen statues if you've gone to Asia. It's around. There's only one, there's the meaning of that pose is that he took it as he was dying, as he was dropping his physical body. It's called the Buddha in parinirvana, meaning he's about to drop his physical body. No other Buddhist deity that I've seen is in that pose on that side. So, however, Tara chose to appear to me on that side, in that pose. So I didn't understand why till later on. Is this clear? Any questions? Is everybody with me? Okay. And here's what happened. So like I said, I was going down to the Bay Area, a 6-hour drive in November. I live in an area on the coast, almost in Oregon, in the redwoods, but I had to go really deep in a very rural area, through the redwoods where it could be 20 to 25 degrees colder than where I live, right? It could be snowing down there easily, and it's not where I live, right? So it was very cold down there. And I'm in my little purple Honda Fit, right? Minding my own business, heading down 101 South. And I hit black ice, right? And it's the day before Thanksgiving, Mercury's Day, right? And I hit black ice at 11 a.m. It was the sun hour. What do we know about the sun? We just had a solar eclipse, right? What happens when the sun goes away? It's a big deal, right? So the sun is basically about life or death. We need it. It's big stuff. So when we have a dream and we look it up and it's at the sun hour, it's probably a really important dream. Really pay attention to it. Make sense? So when I looked it up, it was the sun hour. So Mercury was delivering the sun's message. And here's the event. My chart's on the inside, my natal, and on the outside is the event, the 11 a.m. hitting black ice. Here's Tara coming right into the 6th house, softening the effect of Mars, opposing Pluto in the 12th house of many things, including death. So what I'm trying to say is that I had a near-death experience, and I believe Tara intervened. Interesting, huh? So there's asteroids in the mix. I think quite profound. Here's something else I'd like to say. We can go to the Vedas and look up different things, including definitions for astrology. One of the more common definitions for astrology, of course, ology is the study of. Astrology. Aster means star, star means light. I can't think of a culture that doesn't hold light holy or dear, right? We need light. But another definition sometimes you can see in the Vedas is astrology is spontaneous right action. Isn't that interesting? Spontaneous right. What does that mean? Ever had the feeling that you were in the right place at the right time? Ever had the feeling you were in the right place at the wrong time? I have, right? Can you relate to that? So then we get into synchronicity, which is around us all the time. Do we always notice it though, right? Not necessarily. We kind of have to be in a pretty good state, a pretty balanced state to notice the synchronicity, right? Otherwise, we're just kind of busy with our own dramas, So I feel that there are tools in our lives that can help us increase our awareness, our felt awareness of the synchronicity that's around us all the time. Right? One of them, in my opinion, is dream work. Another is astrology. Another is meditation. There's a bunch. And I believe that these put together, these particular techniques are synergistic, just like when you put several herbs together that work together, they can be synchronistic, right? Or gems that can be synchronistic, right? And you have synergistic, and you get the synergistic effect of 2 plus 2 is much more than 2 plus 2, right? Because it's the right combination together. It's a magical combination. The picture that I put here is the Kali Chakra couple. You may have seen this picture before. The Kali Chakra dance, the Kali Chakra couple is doing the Kali Chakra dance, which is part of the highest teaching in Tibetan Buddhism. It means the wheel of time, Kali Chakra, the wheel of time. And it means the wheel of all different kinds of time, right? Not only Chronos, but Kairos and on, all the different kinds of time. It's a really good empowerment for an astrologer to have because it's got the mysteries of astronomy and astrology in that empowerment, all of those teachings. I've been fortunate to receive it 3 times. So the Kali Chakra empowerment, the dancing couple, this joy is what we feel when we're in that zone, right? spontaneous right action in that kind of holy zone. It's a pretty special thing. So I found out really not that long ago, and I've been working with dreams for my whole life really, is that the origin of the word dream means joy and music. Joy and music from the Middle English. Isn't that interesting? So if a single dream is inspiring, then I have something that I call a healing dream series. Can be like composing a symphony. Because a healing dream series, where you have a string of dreams that are connected, and you have that knowing they're connected. It might be in an evening, might be in weeks, months, might be over many years. That's why it's good to keep the dream journals, right? It could be a symbol that keeps showing up again, right? A healing dream series is kind of like its own novel. And it's really, I think it's a novel about the purpose of our life. Right? So it's really, really helpful to connect these. So I put this picture here of one of my, maybe my favorite necklace that was given to me in ceremony many years ago. Isn't it beautiful? It's abalone with gems and crystals and all kinds of things. And they're all different kinds of beads and sizes and colors, and yet they work together somehow. And they're on the same thread, right? They're connected, just like a healing dream series, different dreams, and yet there's something connecting them. Right? You think about it, you might think back to some dreams you've had and go, aha, maybe I had one of those, probably did. I find that healing dream series often happen at big times in our lives when a lot of things are changing, you know. For instance, a lot of times when we're having big Saturn transits, the Saturn square opposition, Saturn returns, we'll have dreams that'll stick with us and we'll remember them a long time later. Usually because really important things are happening in our lives during these big Saturn transits, right? Big changes, big decisions. So the dreams have a tendency to stick. They're important. They're part of the alchemy of dreams. I feel that dreams and the process of dreams and working with dreams is a form of magic and alchemy in and of itself, and a very holy undertaking. So the alchemical healing process unfolding in the dream series. And I feel that we have a relationship with dreams, just as we do with people. You know, we might meet a person and go, what a fascinating person. I want to get to know them better. And dreams are like that. You know, getting to know them better, letting them unfold their mysteries to us. And then keeping that up and sharing it, because you don't want to drop a relationship. You want to keep it going, get to know them better, go in more depth, right? And a lot of times, these big dreams, a lot of times will have animals in them. I had a whole healing dream series that brought me to live on an island off the coast of Washington for a year and a half in the mid-90s. It was orca whales, and I'd never even seen or heard of orca whales. Those whales invited me to come swimming with them in a series of dreams under the full moon, and I did. And they brought me to a place and they presented maps. They presented people I was going to meet, things that were going to be done and said, and they were right on the money. It was fascinating. So I really notice animals in dreams. And a lot of animals, of course, have asteroids corresponding to them, like orcas. That's an asteroid, right? Yeah. You know, the Dalai Lama likes to say that sleep is the best meditation. And he ought to know. You know, when he was 19, he had to flee Tibet, go over the mountains to get to India. He was being chased by, Chinese military. And he had to do it at night on horseback. And he brought a dog with him, a Tibetan Terrier. I understand he still breeds Tibetan Terriers to this day. Can you imagine having to leave in the middle of the night over mountains, not knowing, what was going to happen, being 19 on horseback, having somebody fall chasing you, right? And making it there. So people have asked him, how did that happen? How did you do that? He said it was the Tibetan dream yoga training. And I understand when he said that, because I was fortunate to receive that training many years ago. So what he did, he incubated a series of dreams that gave him the directions how to do that. And he followed the dreams and he got there alive. So sleep can be the best meditation. And I like to say that life is a waking dream. And that's one of the things we learn in the Tibetan dream yoga training. In the traditional training in Tibet, a lama in training has to live in a pitch black cave for a whole year. I've had dream retreats, but much briefer, a year. So when someone spends that much time in pitch black, their circadian rhythm completely flips, it completely changes. So to them, life literally is a waking dream. They're not just saying it, right? We kind of have a habit often of saying things like, this is what happened in my dream, and this is what happened in, quote, real life. But, I don't really like that much, because dreams are real too. They're another reality. So when we say real life is waking life, then we're taking something from the dream alchemy. So let's think about that. We don't have to say it that way, right? It's just something to think about. So if I like to say life is a waking dream. So if life is a waking dream, it gives us quite a bit of latitude to surf with it. When we were talking about spontaneous right action a couple of minutes ago, it's kind of like surfing, from second to second, and just feeling and sensing and smelling the wind, being willing to be flexible and making an adjustment from second to second, right? And to me, that's what the dance of free will and fate is like. I believe in fate and I believe in free will both. And I believe they interact like surfing, that we do a dance with it. And that's the spontaneous right action. And I think astrology helps us so much with that dance. And just in my opinion. So that's a little bit of what I'm going to say at UAC. Not all of it. You have to come to hear the rest. Or get the replay and hear it later. Anybody can get the replay, which is great. Thank you very much for inviting me.
Yeah, thank you, Catherine. You're an incredible storyteller. That was really delightful.
Thank
And
you.
I just pulled up the chart for this session when we started, and I'm in Portland. But we're like for the West Coast, Tara was rising over the ascendant when
Yes.
we started this session as well.
Yes,
So
I did the chart and found out the same thing.
yeah, and she's exactly sextile Pluto as well right now. So
Yeah. And this is a very ancient way of doing astrology. I just like to throw in that before I do any chart, particularly anybody's natal chart, I do the horary chart for the moment of our planned meeting from my time zone. I treat it like a horary chart. And it tells me so much about why that client is there, what their questions are, and some of the questions they don't even know they had. It's a wonderful practice. And I bring it up before I bring up the natal chart. And I say, let's just for fun, let's look at this together for a minute. And they're always like, oh my God, wow, it's a really fun practice. Thank you for sharing. This is another ancient Babylonian that goes way back. It's one of the first kinds of charts done were horary charts, the chart of the hour. Thank you. Yeah,
That's awesome. Yeah, thank you.
yeah. So is everybody with us, or are you asleep, or was it interesting at all?
Yeah, absolutely. Does
Kind of chewy
anybody?
on it?
Oh, go ahead.
No, I said maybe just kind of chewing on it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I was just gonna ask if anybody had any questions or comments or similar stories or any connections to Tara even.
And it doesn't have to be about Tara. Tara is, of course, wonderful, and yet not the point. It's to whatever floats your boat, whatever deity or planet, you relate to. There might be an asteroid you relate to, and, keep tracking it because that asteroid will show up. And if you go back over some important events in your life and do the charts, you'll see that asteroid is talking, right?
Oh yeah, I found that so much when I was finishing book edits or like even just moving through all of it. Even the characters that I thought that I would never resonate with, I would still notice that I had like maybe a moment when I was younger that it, you know, really mirrored whatever that deity had gone through. And then looking at the transit chart was so crazy to see. They might not be prominent in my chart, but there they were right on my ascendant when that exact thing happened or whatever. I think it's so cool to look back on
Yeah,
trans and yeah, where are the asteroids at any given
just
moment?
just fascinating. Yeah.
Hmm.
Is anybody here going to be at UAC?
Hmm.
Or anybody in the audience? Or I wanted to mention it because in building on what you were saying, and I know you know this already because you and I chatted.
Hmm.
Uh, I really had no idea why I was called to UAC, but I was called by my dreams to present at UAC. And I thought, gee, I wonder why. And then I was called by a dream to do the chart for the UAC opening ceremony and the closing.
Hmm.
And 4 degrees of Pisces, it's UAC opening 4 degrees of Pisces is my natal ascendant. And of course the royal star Fomalhaut is on that, and it's the star that rules astrology. It has a lot to do with astrology. And the probability of the exact same degree of the ascendant, my personal ascendant and the opening is so low, statistically, that it just blows the mind. Pretty wild. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
I
yeah,
love things like that.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So,
Thing.
yeah.
What would you say for people that don't dream very much?
Oh, hi, Kimberly.
Hi
Hi.
there.
Thank you.
I thank you for
Well,
Tara. I too resonate with Tara. So
oh,
I'm
good.
going to go plot her on my chart.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. If you resonated, do it.
Yes,
Otherwise,
for
find out
sure.
what floats your boat. Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
absolutely. Yeah. Uh, yes, I find that a lot of times I make a comparison to gardening, and the more I pay attention to my garden, the more it gives me. And my relationship with dreams is like that. It's like I said, it's like meeting somebody and going, "Hi, this is an interesting person. I really want to get to know them. And then we don't want to drop them cold. Then we want to kind of keep up communication, hopefully, right? So how are we going to keep up communication, right? And kind of feed the dream, you know. That makes sense?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So just attending the attention in of itself is such a powerful thing. It's such a
Mhm.
positive thing. Yeah.
Thank you.
Do you have a favorite asteroid that you work with?
Um, Not particular. I do resonate with Medusa because of where she is with my in relation to my midheaven. So, but it's just sort of what's up in the moment. So that's why, like, because
Yeah.
you talked about Tara, for example, I'm going to go figure out why that came up for me and where it is for me and what I can learn from that. So it just depends on what's happening. But for my everyday, I'm very aware of Medusa and transformation and its interaction with my own
Mhm.
midheaven. So,
Yeah. Wow.
yeah.
Nice. I bet that you have some interesting stories about how that affected your work life.
Yeah, it's yes, it's a lot of transformation and work. and what is work and the definition thereof. So for sure.
And enormous power. The power of your thoughts, just
Hmm.
wow, you got things, you get things done, make things move.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's possible.
Oh, yeah. Thank you.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah. So yeah, if you're interested and you want to start feeding your dreams, you'll get a lot. You have very powerful mind.
Well, and dream yoga has come into my awareness too. So again, this is the other, and this is how these things come. It's like, okay, these are my nudges, and like you're saying, a waking dream, it's like everything kind of dovetails. And if you're aware and listening, and you can find the patterns of the everyday waking life.
Mhm.
So you've provided two things that I've been in my awareness that then I will follow. And that's sort of how I also work with asteroids, just generally speaking in my life. Um, and it can lead you down some fun rabbit holes.
For sure.
Yes.
I love it. I love it. And fixed stars and the lots are so much fun.
Mhm.
Yeah. I love some of the most ancient stuff. I call this work on dreams that I'm doing hot off the ancient press. How
That's good.
Aquarian is that, right? We like to take the best of the most ancient and bridge it to the
Yes.
future, right? So
Yes,
Aquarius.
exactly. Exactly so. Exactly so.
Yeah,
I love that
fun
you
stuff.
weave that through. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Hmm.
Would you like another fun fact, anybody? Or a fun, interesting idea? So I have found, and I'll tell you why, that it's so powerful when we're doing practices to deities to sing them out loud.
Mhm.
Whether we're reciting, an ancient poem or doing a prayer or doing a magical prayer, whatever, whatever floats your boat, like I say, consider singing it as an experience, seeing what happens. So it turns out the gods and goddesses really love both melody and harmony, and they love hearing it out loud. Yeah. And there's a tradition, called yogic singing. It's almost been forgotten. You hear people chanting, but not singing. It's a difference, right? Oh, tare, with a little melody line, right? And I'll tell you, if you want to hear some yoga singing, I can direct you to do a search on YouTube for Chagdud Rinpoche, Chagdud, Chagdud Rinpoche, Rinpoche. He is a lama that's passed on a number of years ago, but there are still a number of his yogic singing. You can find it on YouTube if you do a search. You can hear him doing yogic singing. Or in any tradition, it works like Satnam. This is one of my favorites. Satnam. God is truth. Satnam. Sat. Satanama. So beautiful. So we can just take that and apply it to so many things, whatever floats your boat, whatever works for you. It's even more powerful with melody and or harmony. Yeah. It's interesting how melody and harmony don't seem to be as big in current music, right? When I think about a lot of harmony and melody, I think more about like music from the 1970s or Crosby, Stills and Nash, or you know what I mean, that kind of thing. It's so pleasing. I think it's pleasing, and gods and goddesses really like things that have the beautiful, pleasing quality. And there's a certain frequency when we sing that's a little different than chanting, as wonderful as chanting is. I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there. Try it. See what you think.
It's also a way that they remembered storytelling back then too, because they didn't have the ability to read and write a lot of them. So turning like the a lot of the hymns or that's why like everything is an epic poem because they would often be performed and sang in a society where that was the only way that they would be able to remember them and keep them generally
Yes, because
generationally.
when we sing, it lights up a different part of the brain than just when we talk or even chant.
Mhm.
It's so true. So it just it makes me want to put my neuropsychologist hat on because I'm a psychologist, as you know, I train. So true, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's so powerful and so much fun, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. The same thing with herbs or gems, whatever floats your boat. There's so many neat books about things, and that's helpful. And about dreams, what is it meaning to you? Breathe into your body. What do you feel about that dream? What do you feel about that gem? What do you feel about that herb? Is it speaking to you? Do you feel something physical in your body? Does your heart light up? Then it's really calling to you, right? Beautiful stuff. Yeah. The dance of free will and fate. Isn't that what we engage in every day with astrology? The sacred dance, the Kali chakra dance. Yeah. Yeah.
Beautiful. Well, maybe I'll wrap up the recording here, and then if anyone has anything they wanted to share or ask just amongst us. But is there anything else anyone wants to share before we wrap up the recording? Okay.
If anybody has any question or something afterwards, you can reach me at droconnell.net or Dr. Catherine 2, the number 2, at gmail.com.
Perfect. And we'll put those down in the show notes as well for folks who are listening to the recording.
That's good. Thank you.